If I told you that a narcissist does not need to get angry, does not need to break things, and does not even need to touch you in order to destroy you, would you believe it? Because their damage rarely comes from loud moments. It is not in the shouting, the insults, or the explosions you can easily point to. Instead, it seeps into your life through the most ordinary things. Things so small that you convince yourself you must be overreacting. And then, suddenly, the home that once felt safe becomes the quietest battlefield. The kitchen, the bedroom, the bathroom, the sofa, the light switch, the phone sitting on the table, the pillow beside you every night, all of them can become weapons in their hands. They don't attack you with obvious actions. They attack with subtlety, with tiny disruptions that exhaust your mind more than any big confrontation ever could. You think they forgot? No, they did it on purpose. You think they are careless? No. They study your reactions down to the smallest detail. The things you once dismissed as nothing, just small stuff, or maybe I'm being too sensitive, are actually strategy. Their way of breaking your rhythm, making you search for things all morning, draining your energy with a tiny change, confusing you with a chain of nameless inconveniences. And little by little, you start doubting yourself. You stop trusting what is real, what is random, and what is intentional. That is exactly what they want. Because a narcissist does not need violence to control you. They only need to make you stop trusting your own intuition. And that is why, today, we will peel back the 8 silent tools a narcissist uses to destroy you every single day. No shouting, no evidence, only the kind of normal that is so subtle it breaks you without anyone noticing. But to understand just how calculated their behavior is, we have to begin with the very first tool, something seemingly harmless, yet the sharpest blade they use to slice into your peace. The first tool, the phone. In the hands of a narcissist, a phone is no longer a device for connection. It becomes a weapon of control, something small yet powerful enough to make you feel like an outsider in your own relationship. They don't need to lock it. They only need to make sure you see how they guard it more fiercely than they guard you. Every time they look down at the screen while you are speaking, it is not a habit, it is a deliberate message. Your feelings do not matter. Every suspicious glance, every smirk, every subtle tilt of the screen when your eyes pass by, each one is crafted to make you compare yourself to an object and eventually feel like you are losing. In their hands, the phone becomes a cold wall between you. They text during meals to break intimacy. They hide in the bathroom for hours, leaving you waiting in anxious silence. They scroll endlessly, using the glowing screen as a shield to block your presence. And the cruelest part is this: the phone becomes their secret room, the place where they feed their ego, hidden conversations, borrowed admiration, attention from strangers, things they value more than the sincerity you pour into the relationship. But what hurts the most is not the content on the phone. It is the way they use it to make you feel like the second choice in your own life. That is why the phone is always the first tool they use to dismantle you. No shouting, no violence, just the quiet comparison that makes you feel smaller than a lit-up screen. But the narcissist's sophistication doesn't stop at the phone, because when they want to consolidate their power on a deeper level, they move to the second tool, something that feels like a permanently locked door right in front of you. The second tool, the laptop, computer. If the phone is their mobile mask, then the laptop is the narcissist's central control room. Problem of the day: a private territory guarded with absolute security passwords, incognito mode, secondary accounts, hidden tabs, wiped browser history. Every layer of protection doesn't just hide what they're doing, it sends you a cold, deliberate message. This is my world. You are not allowed in. In their hands, the laptop is no longer a work device. It becomes an emotional barrier constructed between the two of you. They open the laptop the moment you want to talk. They pretend to be busy to avoid any form of connection. They keep their face buried in the screen to cut off your gaze. They play movies, music, or games just to fill the silence until the space between you feels like two separate universes. And even darker, The laptop is also where they invade your life. They might change your passwords, delete your important files, mess up your settings, or intentionally interrupt you right when you need to focus most. Not because they're careless, not because they forget, but because they want to disrupt your rhythm. They want you to constantly chase the chaos they create, to feel that your work is fragile, unstable, and always on the verge of falling apart. The laptop is where they maintain two things: secrecy and power. You stand in front of a glowing screen, yet it feels like standing outside a door that leads to their real life, a door they lock with everything they have. And in the end, the deepest wound isn't what's actually inside the computer. It's the feeling they intentionally cultivate in you, that you're not important enough to be included, to be trusted, or to be let into the part of their life they consider real. The laptop is not just a tool, it is a boundary. And they use that boundary to remind you every single day that you are always on the outside. But a narcissist's power doesn't stop at devices. When they want a deeper grip, one that affects your basic sense of safety, they move to the third tool, the one that dictates how secure you feel in the world. The third tool, the wallet and money. In the hands of a healthy person, money is a resource. In the hands of a narcissist, money is a leash. Their wallet and yours becomes a tool that keeps you dependent, uncertain, and always unsure whether you have enough. One day they spend recklessly, the next day they claim to be broke. One moment they're generous, the next they vanish when you need the smallest bit of support. It's not inconsistency, it's strategy. A narcissist uses money to make you feel grateful for crumbs, guilty for normal expenses, undeserving of transparency, and silent if you want peace. Then the violations begin. Taking small amounts from your wallet, hiding receipts, making important documents disappear, forgetting to repay you, ensuring you come up short at the worst moments. Not to steal, but to measure you, to see how anxious you get, to make you believe the instability comes from you, not them. Money becomes a power test in their hands. They can derail your entire day by hiding your car keys inside their bag. They can shatter your calm with a suspicious purchase they'll never explain. They can make you feel small every time you have to ask about something that was already yours. And slowly, you lose autonomy over even the simplest choices. What to buy, what to save, what to spend. You begin living inside an invisible cage where your wallet lies in their control and theirs remains a locked vault. The brutal truth is this: money is not the problem. The way they use money to define your place in their world is what breaks you. And when they want to hit the most vulnerable part of you, your self-worth, your self-image, your sense of who you are, the narcissist moves to the fourth tool. The fourth tool, clothing. In the hands of a normal person, clothes are just clothes. In the hands of a narcissist, clothing becomes a way to control you. They don't need to yell or forbid anything. They only need to plant small, seemingly harmless comments. That outfit looks cheap. You look better in something else. Anyone who dresses like that looks desperate. You look so plain in that. Tiny remarks, but sharp enough to make you question yourself. Enough to make you stand longer in front of the mirror, unsure, uncomfortable, losing trust in your own taste. And that is only the beginning. A narcissist uses clothing to rewrite the image you see in the mirror. They can criticize what you love wearing, praise what you don't feel comfortable in, praises, make you feel unattractive in outfits that once gave you confidence, compare you to others, convince you that only they know what suits you. And when you finally adjust your style to please them, they shift the standard just to keep you perpetually wrong. It's abyss too. Sometimes they disrupt your preparation entirely, hiding the outfit you plan to wear, dirtying something you set aside, complaining right before you walk out the door, making you late because you keep changing clothes, or worst of all, making you believe you don't deserve to feel beautiful. Because to a narcissist, clothing isn't fashion. Clothing is power, a way to control how you see yourself. When they make you believe your body is not enough, your style is not right, or your choices are unworthy, You start viewing yourself through their eyes. And once that happens, they don't need to restrict you. You restrict yourself. The brutal truth is this: they don't need to change your clothes. They only need to change how you feel inside them. And when a narcissist wants to strike at the place that should be your safest space, the bed, where your body softens and your guard falls, they reach for the fifth tool. The fifth tool, the blanket. There is nothing more harmless than a blanket, soft, warm, meant to protect. But in the hands of a narcissist, a blanket becomes the coldest message you can receive at night, the message of being shut out. When they yank the blanket to their side, it's not because they are colder. When they wrap themselves tightly while leaving you exposed, it's not accidental. When they turn their back and let you lie on the cold sheet, it's not sleep. It is intention. To them, the blanket is the simplest way to speak without words. You don't get to touch me. My warmth is not for you. You will sleep alone, even if I'm lying right here. They know physical warmth is emotional connection. They know you need closeness, reassurance, a sense of belonging. And because they know, they weaponize it. They pull the blanket away on the nights you're most vulnerable. They hold it tight so there's no room for you. They build a thick wall of fabric between your bodies, making you lonely while lying inches apart. The pain is not the cold, it is the rejection, the invisibility, the feeling of being unworthy of even a sliver of shared warmth. Over time, you wrap yourself not just for heat, but for protection from their emotional frost. You learn to stay still, to make yourself smaller, to avoid disturbing them, as if your existence should shrink to keep the peace. The brutal truth is this: the blanket was never the problem. The problem is the way they use it as a barrier, a punishment, a reminder that you are sharing a bed with someone but living like you are alone. But perhaps no tool is more sophisticated than the one designed to reflect you, to help you see yourself clearly. In the hands of a narcissist, it becomes the place where they distort your identity until you no longer recognize who you are. The sixth tool, the mirror. A narcissist doesn't need to break the mirror. They only need to make you believe that the reflection is not good enough. They begin with blade-thin comments. You look tired. You're starting to look older. Maybe you should lose some weight. Others look better in that than you. And an A. Not loud, not crude, but sharp enough to create a hairline crack inside you. And once the crack forms, all they need to do is twist. Little by little, the mirror stops reflecting you. It reflects the version they want you to believe. Less attractive, less worthy, less correct. When they want you to feel ugly, they look at you as if you already are. When they want you to feel insecure, their eyes linger exactly where you fear judgment most. When they want you to feel inferior, they compare you to anyone they know you're afraid of losing to. And then they stand in front of the mirror themselves, admiring their hair, their clothes, their muscles, their charm, forcing you to witness their self-worship, as if to say, "Look closely, this is what you'll never be." The mirror, once a place of self-recognition, becomes a tool for dismantling your self-worth. You check it, not to prepare yourself, but to see whether you are acceptable by their standards. And here is the deepest cruelty. A narcissist never changes the mirror. They change the way you look at yourself. Once you begin reflecting their contempt, their doubt, their judgment, they win. Because from that moment on, you are no longer you. You become the version they can control with the smallest word, the slightest look. The brutal truth is this: the mirror was never the enemy. The enemy was the way they used it to fracture the person living inside you. And when a narcissist wants to hurt you without a word, without a visible act, they reach for the seventh tool, something you touch every night, yet never imagine could wound you. The seventh tool, the pillow. A pillow seems harmless, created for rest, but in the hands of a narcissist, it becomes a silent signal of punishment, distance, and emotional frost. They don't shout. They don't push you away. They simply place the pillow between the two of you. A small gesture, yet deeply intentional. A soft barrier with the sharpness of a blade. That pillow says, "We are no longer close. Don't touch me. You are not allowed into my space." A narcissist knows distance in bed is not just physical, it is rejection, it is emotional withdrawal, it is exclusion delivered without a fight. So they reinforce it, hiding behind the pillow when you try to talk hard, hugging the pillow instead of hugging you away, nudging the pillow toward you to push you back, or adding more pillows to create a barrier calls, clutching the pillow tightly as if your presence is unwanted. Over time, the pillow becomes evidence that you are no longer included, no longer chosen, no longer loved the way you once were. And the cruelest part? No one sees it. No one believes it counts as abuse. Even you have asked yourself, am I overreacting? You are not. They know exactly what they are doing. When they use the pillow as a wall, they achieve what every narcissist wants, to make you feel alone while lying right beside them. Because loneliness creates hunger. Hunger creates dependence. And dependence sustains their power. The brutal truth is this: a pillow is meant to cradle your head. In their hands, it cradles their control over your mind. And when a narcissist wants to control you at the deepest level, not your body, not your belongings, but your rhythm, they move to the eighth tool, something invisible, yet more powerful than any threat. The eighth tool, the calendar, time. A narcissist doesn't need to touch your possessions to break you. They only need to touch your time. They control you by showing up late so you wait in uncertainty, canceling plans at the last minute away, demanding you shift your schedule because they need it, expecting you to be available even without reason day, disrupting your workflow with endless interruptions. This isn't impulsiveness, it's strategy. Because every time you adjust your time around them, you send a message. My schedule revolves around you. And that is exactly what they want. They use time to erode you, making you late to important events later, costing you opportunities by dragging arguments out today, robbing you of sleep, then calling you overly sensitive, keeping you awake with meaningless conversations, forcing you to wake early to meet their needs, breaking every healthy routine you try to build today. And worse, they make you believe you are the one who mismanages time, that you're disorganized, forgetful, chaotic. But the truth is, your rhythm has been bent by them, day after day. When they want power, they delay. When they want to punish, they let you wait. When they want you anxious, they go silent at the worst moments. When they want you dependent, they make planning impossible. You end up living suspended, not knowing what will happen next, not knowing when they'll change their mind, not knowing what tomorrow looks like. They don't need to control your actions. They only need to control the timing of your actions. The brutal truth is this: they're not stealing your time. They're stealing the life you would have lived inside that time. In the end, when you look back at those 8 tools, the phone, the laptop, the wallet, the clothes, the blanket, the mirror, the pillow, and time, you will see a chilling truth. A narcissist does not break you with violence. They break you with familiarity, not with knives, not with screaming, not with blows, but with the things you touch every day, the things you once considered normal, the things so small you forced yourself to believe, maybe I'm just being too sensitive. But you are not sensitive. You are perceptive. You have simply been conditioned to doubt your own intuition for far too long. The phone makes you feel unimportant. The laptop pushes you out of a part of their life they keep hidden. The wallet makes you dependent. The clothes make you question your worth. The blanket makes you feel unloved. The mirror makes you lose sight of who you are. The pillow makes you lonely inside your own relationship. And time steals the life that should have been yours. 8 different tools. One single purpose: to wear you down without leaving a trace. Because a narcissist does not want you to collapse all at once. They want to drain you slowly. They want you weakened not by one big blow, but by 1,000 invisible cuts. They want you to wake up one day unable to remember what you lost, when you lost it, or how it happened. And in that exact moment, when you no longer trust your own senses, they stand at their highest point of power. But what they never expect is this: Recognizing the pattern is how you take your power back. When you look directly at each tool they use, when you call out the precision of their tactics, when you stop blaming yourself for things you never caused, their power begins to fracture. Because escaping a narcissist is not about arguing, not about convincing, not about enduring. Escaping is seeing every trick they swore you would never notice. And once the light of awareness turns on, the tools that once exhausted you return to what they truly are. Nothing but objects. No power. No voice. No ability to steer your life ever again. That is the moment you finally step out of the darkness. And that is also the moment the narcissist loses the one thing they fear most: their control over your mind.